Hi, I'm Terry Robinson, Executive Editor at SC Media, and we're back at RSA. With me right now is Israel Barak. He is the CISO at Cybereason. Hi, Israel.
Hi, Terry.
Good to see you again.
It's wonderful to see you.
Yeah, it's always nice to meet up with you at these shows. So what I'm interested in today is I hear you've set up honeypot, and you've had some interesting results. So can you tell us a little bit about that?
Absolutely. You know, very commonly attackers use automatic attack tools to identify low-hanging fruits, right? Targets that are connected to the internet and they can exploit for their own purposes. And what we wanted to check is what changes are we seeing in that ecosystem, the ecosystem of automatic attack tools.
Okay.
So we've essentially set up a honeypot. It was an organization with a cover of a financial services company and an entire IT infrastructure behind it, and planted a couple of baits and waited to see what was going to happen. And among the myriad of commodity bots, what really surprised us was one particular bot type that hit our infrastructure very quickly after it was connected to the internet.
How quickly was that?
We're talking about 2 hours.
Wow.
2 hours after it got connected to the internet, we saw that new bot type.
Okay.
And what that bot did, as opposed to traditional automatic attack tools that try to convert machines into cryptocurrency mining tools or DDoS bots or distribute spam through them, this new bot type was essentially doing the grunt work for a human attacker. They were actually paving the way into a new target organization for a human attacker to come in.
Wow. Okay. And so what did you see from there? I mean, what did they do?
Well, the first steps that the bot would take are we're usually trying to establish an infrastructure for penetration. So they would establish persistence mechanisms to make sure that they never lose access to that environment. And they would then build additional users for the human attacker to take advantage of when they come in. They would make sure they would also build a business case for the human attacker to know how appealing this new environment is. So they would do network reconnaissance to understand which organization this is. They would collect the names of the different machines in the environment to see how appealing that particular piece of the network is. They would collect network communication information of that organization with its partners to see who it's communicating with, and they would look for other financial services, retail organizations. They would really build a business case for the human attacker.
That's interesting. So what are they, hackers with MBAs at this point? I guess, does this complicate then the threat scenario? Is that
So what was really interesting about this was how quickly we saw the human attacker coming in after that bot activity.
And about what was the window?
So it was 2 days after. So the bot did its job, established that groundwork and that infrastructure for the human attacker to come in. They built the business case. And then 2 days after, a human attacker followed. And they used the infrastructure that the bot had set up for them to come in. I quickly identified the different pieces of data that they're interested in and initiated a mass data exfiltration off of that infrastructure. So the interesting thing, while these techniques are techniques that are well known and being used by attackers, it's really just how commoditized they've become.
Yeah.
It's a new infrastructure that we've set up, a company that no one knew anything about. It just got connected to the internet. And then 2 hours later, it gets hit with a significant breach attempt that's designed to pave the way for actual human attackers into it.
That's crazy. So, what does this mean for organizations out there?
Well, I think the first thing that it means is very likely that this is working very well for the attackers. One of the implications of seeing something working at that scale so fast is obviously based on natural selection. The reason why it's working at that scale and working so fast is because it's very probably being very successful at it. And so it seems like we're seeing this sort of mass exploitation campaign that are being very successful at acquiring access to organizational networks and making these networks accessible to human attackers to come into. as a commodity technology for attackers. The second thing, a lot of organizations, especially when you look at the medium and small size organizations, assume that if they deploy systems online and then gradually secure and harden them, they should be in a good place, because what would be the level of risk? I mean, we just got that system connected. Who's going to attack it?
Yeah.
Where the reality is that within a couple of hours of a new system being connected to the internet, it will get attacked. And it's not only going to be commodity cryptocurrency mining bots or spam bots. Those are going to be technologies that are designed to infiltrate into that target network.
So the company's going to have to recalculate the risk and how quickly things can happen.
Absolutely. We see that right now on a large scale, if there's no process for secure deployment of technologies, servers, services, when they get connected, right from the first moment they get connected to the internet, it's very likely that by the time organizations actually get to securing them, they're going to be someone else's infrastructure.
That's crazy. So I guess this is a good time for people to step up, get their security priorities in a row, and yeah, that's truly frightening, the speed at which that happened. So thanks again for joining us here today.
Thank you, Terry.
Once again, I'm Terry Robinson, Executive Editor at SC Media, and this is Israel Barak. He is the CISO at Cybereason. Stay tuned for more from the RSA show in San Francisco.